Hi, in this tutorial we are going to see what are CSS selectors. In our previous video we have seen what is CSS and also we have understood what is the purpose of using CSS inside our website. And also we have seen how to link CSS. Okay, there are basically three ways of linking CSS: external CSS, internal CSS and inline CSS. Okay, and when it comes to priority, inline CSS will be having more priority than external and internal internal CSS will be having second priority based on the order they have given inside the head tag. Now here inside this, if I am having this internal CSS, then below that if I am having external CSS, then whatever I have given at the end, that will be taking the more priority, which means that here external CSS will be taking more priority. If I just give this one here, I'll just copy this one and here I'm just going to paste that one, and in this internal CSS will be taking more priority. Okay, if we are using external CSS we have to link like this, and if we are using internal CSS then we have to use this style tag, and whenever we are using inline CSS we have to use this style attribute. Okay, so you should be having the basic difference what are tags and what are attributes, only then you will be able to perform this one. Okay, this is called as inline styling and this will be taking more priority. I'll just come here. Okay, and this was our output, and here I am having all this output. Now the color got changed because here I have just changed the stylings here. Now I have just written here style below, so whatever I have given here, that is been applied. And for this para, okay, you can see for all the paragraphs I have just given the class as para, and for this paragraph I have just given the inline styling. So whatever color I have given here, that is been applied. Okay, this entire thing we have seen in our previous tutorial. Now let's start with CSS selectors. Okay, now here I am just going to come. Before that, let me just remove this one, all the stylings whatever I have written, and also I'm just going to remove this entire thing. I don't need this one. I'm just going to remove this styling, and also this entire section I'm going to remove. Instead of this, I have just written some code. Let me just copy this one, this basic HTML structure. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, now let me just explain you whatever I have done here. Now here I have just written one h1. Below that I am having one paragraph. Below this paragraph I have just created one div. Inside this div I am having 3 paragraphs and 1 section. And inside this section I am having 3 more paragraphs. Okay, this section and these paragraphs are the children of this div container. And whatever paragraphs I am having inside this section tag, this paragraphs will be the grandchildren of this one. Okay, and then below this I am having this 2 paragraphs, then finally I am having this footer. Okay, here I have just written this basic layout of HTML. Now we are going to apply some stylings for this so that we will have clear idea how to use selectors. Okay, now here I have linked this one, and in this entire series I am going to use external CSS so that we don't get confused with HTML and CSS by using the styles in the same file. Okay, so I will be using complete external style sheet. Before that, let me just talk about comments. Okay, in CSS we are going to comment like this. We will be writing this one /* then whatever comment you want to write here, let me just write here CSS comments. Okay, now whatever comments we are writing here, that will not be executed, so we are writing comments, and then again we have to write like this. Okay, but if you are using VS Code editor, if you just click on Control /, the comment will be given to you. Okay, this is how we are going to write comments. Now below this, let me just remove this one. Now below this we are going to see about CSS selectors. Okay, selectors are basically classified into 5 categories. We are having simple selectors, we are having combinator selectors, we are having pseudo class selector, pseudo element selector, and finally we are having attribute selector. Okay, one by one we are going to understand how we can use these selectors. Okay, now first inside simple selector, here we can select using elements. Now before that, let me just tell you what is selector. Now whenever we are giving stylings for this h1 or whenever we are giving this paragraph, we have to select this particular tag. Okay, whenever we are selecting this tag, and inside CSS we will be calling it as selector. Okay, we are going to select this HTML element and we will be styling that one. Okay, now here I am just going to copy this h1. Before that, let me just show you the output here. Okay, here I am having, let me just refresh this. Okay, now this is the output. Here I am having one heading, here all the paragraphs has been displayed, and finally here I am having this footer. Now what I am going to do is, now for this h1, I'll just come here. I have already linked this one. Now I am just going to select h1 element, and for this I am just going to give the color. Color, let me just write here red. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the color is being changed to red. Okay, now if you just want to increase some font size, you can just write here font size. Okay, you don't have to worry what is this font size, why we are using this one. We are going to see more about this in later videos. Okay, now this whatever I have written here, this is nothing but property. We have to separate by colon and then we have to write the value. Now if I just want to write another value, I just have to separate by semicolon. Now font size, let me just write here 40 pixel. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see the font size has been increased. Now if I just want to bring this H1 in the center, we are having one property. Let me just write here text align to be center. I'll save this. Okay, now you can see here my text will come in the middle. Okay, this is how we are going to select elements and we will be giving some stylings. Now suppose if I just give the class here. Now for this paragraph, I'm just going to give the class. Let me just write here para. Okay, now only for this paragraph I have given. Okay, let me just give for another paragraph as well. And also I'm just going to give for this one. Okay, same class I'm just going to give. Now I'll just copy this class. Now for class we just have to write here dot and whatever class name we are having. Okay, now inside this I'm just going to give the color. Color I'll be writing here green. I'll save. Okay, now you can see here for this paragraph and for this paragraph the color is been changed. You can see it clearly. Only for this paragraph and for this paragraph the color is been changed because only for these two paragraphs I have given the class as para. Let me just reduce the size. Now instead of this, let me just give here another color so that we can see it clearly. Let me just write here purple. I'll just give this color. I'll save this. Now you can see it, we can differentiate this one. Okay, we are having this two paragraphs which is having the class para. Okay, now we can select using ID as well. Now ID will be only one class. We can give multiple inside HTML. Now here I'm just going to give here unique para. I'll save this. I'll just copy this one, copy ID. And for ID, whenever we are using that one, we have to write here hash and I'm just going to paste the ID. Now for this, I'm just going to give the color. Let me just write here aqua. I'll save. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the color is been changed only for that paragraph. Okay, whatever name I have given for this ID, I can use only one time inside my complete HTML. Okay, so you should take care on that. And class we can give, okay, this same class name we can give for multiple paragraphs, multiple sections we can give. And also if you want to give multiple classes here, now suppose this is having some more properties other than this paragraph. So I can just give here another one. Let me just write here para 1. Now for this para 1, I can just give another stylings. I'll just come here. Now for this para, I'll just increase the font size. Let me just write here 20 pixel. I'll save this. Okay, now you can see only for this paragraph the font size has been increased, but for this paragraph the color whatever I have given for this one, that has been applied because these two paragraphs having the same class, that is nothing but para. This is how we are going to select the elements in HTML using classes and IDs as well as using HTML elements. Okay, these are the simple selectors we have done. Let me just write the first selector here. I'll be writing here selector, simple selector. Okay, these are the simple selectors. Next we are going to see about combinator selector. Here I'll be writing combinator selector. Okay, combinator selector, it is nothing but it is going to tell the relationship between the selectors. Okay, whatever relationship we are having between the selector, as I told you, it is the parent of that children and they are the children and they are the grandchildren. Okay, in the same way it is going to tell the relationship. Now here first inside this combinator selector, basically we are having four types of selectors. Okay, first let me just write here. First one, that is nothing but descendant selector. Okay, if you want you can just take the screenshot of this, or if you just want you can just write the notes on that. I'll be writing here descendant selector. Now descendant selector is nothing but inside this div container I am having multiple paragraphs. Okay, now here you can see here. Now inside this div I am having this multiple paragraphs and inside this section I am having this paragraph. So let us just see the output. Now here I am just going to select the div. Inside this div I am just writing here paragraph, which means that I am selecting all the paragraphs. Now for this I am just going to give the color. I'll just write here orange. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see all the paragraphs related to that div is being changed. Okay, now whatever paragraphs I'm having inside this section, even that is being changed because it is going to select all the paragraphs, all the matching elements it is going to select. Now suppose below this if I'm having one H5 heading and inside this I have just written here hello, hello, how are you? I have just written this one. Let me just write here exclamatory. Okay, here I have just written something. I'll just refresh this one. Now you can see that will not be selected. Only paragraphs will be selected and whatever it is matching that will be printed. only inside this div container whatever paragraph I am having, that will be selected. Okay, it is not going to select this paragraph, it will not select this paragraph, and also whatever we are having inside footer, that will not be selected. Okay, this is called as Descendant Selector. Whatever paragraph it is matching, that is going to be affected, and that colors, whatever stylings we have given, that will be applied. Okay, next I am just going to write here, next we are having Child Selector. Okay, now for Child Selector we are having this symbol. Okay, whenever we are having this symbol, it selects all the children of that specified element. Okay, now let's see, as I told you, okay, these 3 paragraphs are the children of this one, and these paragraphs whatever I am having inside this section, they are the grandchildren of this one. So let's just see the output here. Now here I am just going to select the div, and here I will be writing this symbol. I am just going to select the paragraph now. Now here I am just going to write the color. Now color, let me just write here dark blue. I'll save this. Let me just come here. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see only these 3 paragraphs is being changed. I have written this down. So whatever I am having here, that is been overridden. Through this I have got all this output. Okay, all the paragraphs was selected, and here I am having this orange color for all the paragraphs. I was having orange color for all the paragraphs, but as soon as I gave this child selector, whoever are the children of this div container, only that will be selected. Now below this section, if I just give here another paragraph, now inside this, let me just write here lorem 10. I'll save this. Okay, this is also the child of div. Let me just come here. I'll refresh. Okay, now you can see below that I'm having this output. Okay, dark blue color. Okay, this is how we are going to print this one. Okay, this is just going to select the child of this one. Then we are having, then third one we are having adjacent sibling selector. Adjacent sibling selector. And for this we are having plus symbol. Okay, now let's see the output for that. Here I'm just going to write here div plus p, and for this I'm just going to write here, let me just write here text center. Text center, I'll be writing text align, I'm just going to write here text align to be center. I'll save this. Now let's see what it is going to give. I'll refresh. Now you can see only this paragraph is been selected here. Now let's come here. Okay, now adjacent means, okay, now here I am having this entire div container. Now this entire paragraph is been selected here. You can see here this entire paragraph is been selected. Now what it is going to do is, now inside this div container whatever I am having here, it is just going to ignore whatever next sibling I am having, that is going to be selected. Now instead of that, if I just write here, let me just write here para, and here I will be writing here let me just write here flowers. I'll save this. Now this paragraph will be selected, and that will be displayed in the center. I'll refresh this. Now you can see this paragraph will be selected. So it is just going to select the adjacent, okay, the next sibling of that one. Now this div sibling is this paragraph, so that is going to select that one. Okay, then finally we are having the fourth selector inside Combinator Selector, and inside this, let me just write here general sibling selector. And for this we are having this tilde symbol. Now what it is going to do is, now it is going to select all the elements that are next to siblings of a specified element. Okay, so let's see the output for that. Now here I'm just going to write here div, and here I'll be writing here paragraph. Now for this paragraph, instead of giving any stylings, let me just write here background color. Okay, now you don't have to worry what properties I am giving here. We are going to study more about that one. Let me just write here this color. I'll save. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see it is selected this one. Okay, all these 3 paragraphs it is been selected. Now for this one, only the adjacent, okay, only the first sibling is been selected, but using this general sibling selector, it is going to select all the siblings. Okay, whatever I am having here, all the siblings it is going to select, direct siblings. Okay, it has not selected this footer. Inside this footer also I am having this paragraph, but it is not going to select that one because it is not the direct sibling. Okay, this direct sibling is footer. Inside footer I am having this paragraph, so it will not select that one. Only direct siblings it is going to select. Now instead of that, if I just write here footer, let me just write here footer. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see it is going to select the footer, okay, because inside this all the general siblings whatever I am having here, that will be selected. Now here if I just write here footer, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here it is not going to affect at all because we are not having the direct sibling of the footer. Okay, this it is not going to work, okay, because we are having this footer here. Let me just write paragraph again. I'll refresh this. Okay, now here I am having all this output. Okay, this is how we are going to work. Let me just explain you again. Okay, we are having simple selector, and inside this we can select elements using the element, using class, using ID, and also we can give multiple classes separating by space. Then we are having Combinator Selector, and inside that we are having 4 types of selector: Descendant Selector, Child Selector, Adjacent Sibling Selector, and General Sibling Selector. Inside Descendant Selector, it is going to select all the paragraphs related to that diff container. And inside this Child Selector, it is going to select only the children of that diff container. And inside this Adjacent Sibling Selector, it is going to select the next sibling, okay, immediate sibling it is going to select. And inside this General Sibling Selector, it is going to select all the siblings, okay, immediate siblings, all the siblings, second, third, fourth, whoever it is, okay, in whichever position it is going to select all the siblings. Okay, this is all about Simple Selector and Combinator Selector. In our next tutorial, we are going to see what are Pseudo Class Selector, Pseudo ID Selector, and Attribute Selector. Okay, that's all for today's tutorial. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.